Good evening, good evening. Boy, it's a beautiful day out here on a Friday, and I'm traveling once again. But I want to tell y'all about something that happened to me yesterday. It's kind of funny in a way. So for those of you who have been following me here on YouTube, I have been trying to, look for a conversion van. I think that's what it is. And I had started out trying to, the car that I'm in now, trying to live in that as I travel. So I have my little blankets, and I'm thinking about doing a lot of more things to it, but I was like, no, let me look for something bigger. So I looked for something bigger, and I thought it was a deal, until I got to driving it yesterday. So the thing wouldn't even, the conversion van wouldn't even stay in the road, and he was like, well, it's a 1995 Ford Conversion B something. And if you're not used to driving these things, it's hard to stir it, and keep it in the road. And I'm like, OMG. And I say, okay, so what do I need to do? He said, well, you just, before you get to a red light or stop sign, you have to stop ahead of time in order to slow it down. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, maybe he's right. So I did that, and it started making some kind of noise. And I asked him, I said, well, what is this noise that I'm hearing? And he was like, I don't know. I said, okay. I said, well, let me take it to AutoZone and see if they can check this, whatever this noise is. He said, oh, they're not going to check that, and it's only your check engine light. And he just went on, and to me, he appeared to be nervous. So he was right. They didn't check it, and the reason why they did not check it, it was too old of a van, for one thing, and they did not have the plug-in unless it was like a 2000 and up. So that fell through the roof, I'm like, oh. So I decided to keep driving it, and the more that I've driven it, and I asked him questions. I said, okay, so what is this other sound when I turn to the left or to the right? He said, oh, the tires are too big. So I put the tires on, and I wanted bigger tires on this van. So that's what you're hearing when you turn to the left or the right, is the tires scrubbing. I said, well, that could be dangerous. Could that, blow out a tire or something like that? He said, no, not really. And another bulb went off. So I decided to ask him, does it need an alignment? Because it was still hard for me to stir and keep it in the road. So he was like, no, I think it may need some shocks. And I said, some shocks? Okay, front or back or both? He said, well, I put some shocks on in the front, so you may have to put some on in the back. And I say, okay, what kind of shocks? How much did they cost? Da-da-da-da-da. And what type of shocks? So I was like, give me the information. So he said, well, they probably $40 a piece. No, he said $20 a piece. And I'm like, oh, that's cheap for some shocks. But maybe because it's a 95. And I thought about that as well. So I just zoomed into an auto part place. I said this time I'm going in, get some quotes, and I'm gonna get some quotes, and I'm gonna get a printout, so that way I have what I need. So I zoomed in there and I walked in there, and I began to ask questions, and I needed a running something, and I needed 8 of those. So the running something, I forgot the name of it, but I needed 8 of those. It comes in a set of 2. It was $45 each. So you do the math. And I needed the shocks. And the shocks were $50 each. So I needed 2 of those. And it was another running thing that I needed, because I needed 8 of them. But it would not print off the other one. So it was like 30, 37, I want to say about $40. So I'm like, ooh, I'm not going to pay all this money just to drive this. I didn't want to go into something that I had to shove out a lot of money to drive. And he kept saying, well, you know, I don't